back to Useful Detonator Jumps, the series where I, BonOakley, show you a vast range of jumps a pirate can perform with a detonator on maps and show you how useful they can be. They'll range from fairly useful to very useful, as a lot of the maps don't exactly take detonator jumps into account in their layout, meaning some of them could be as simple as sticky jumping or rocket jumping, but with pyro instead. Keep in mind that I'm no detonator expert, so if I miss any, I'll be happy if you told me below and I'll amend them in the next part. Today's part will be exploring the payload maps as previously mentioned in the Cough episode. Surprisingly enough, there's only one amendment to make this time around, and that's back on Harvest. Just outside of spawn, there's a lamp just above the doors. You can easily jump onto them and sneak attack enemies coming to and from spawn. An effective tactic to take out enemies with low health, to be honest. Should have known this one considering I watch a lot of pirate montages, but thanks to Blueson for reminding me of this one. And without further ado, let's get into the payload maps, starting with Badwater Basin. Near the blue starting spawn, you can jump onto the rocks just outside easily with a jump. However, these can be reached if you go to the upper right path without the detonator, so this is only useful if you went the left path instead, so not much use for it here. However, the rocks that you can see just outside on the right coming out of blue spawn is a great place to jump up to in order to get a sneaky ambush on snipers or engineers set up here, and getting rid of some crucial buildings. Outside blue spawn yet again is a jump you can do just above the tunnel. This one can surprise a couple of enemies waiting up there, since they won't likely expect a jumping pirate to attack from the ground. The same can also be said on the opposite side of the tunnel, as you can get up there and attack key targets if they're not expecting you here. Overall, not a bad set of jumps near point A. In the building just left to the first point, there are a couple of jumps that can be made around that area. Going the left path will bring you to a ledge just behind where most players will be. You can jump down to the blue container and then detonate to jump up to that area, or you can jump onto the wooden boxes, and with one well placed jump you can get there as well. Not bad for yet another sneaky maneuver. You can then jump back again by jumping to any of the containers or the wooden boxes on this side as well. Near the blue spawn that is active later on, you can jump on the small railing next to the stairs and do a jump up to that area on top of the building yet again. Useful for reds wanting to surprise those pesky blues from advancing, or if someone sneaks back here later on to harass people spawning in. And that about covers the area near point B. Moving on to the area after this, the side building and area just ahead will open up. Going to the left building will bring you to an area with a balcony opposite. You can easily jump up to there and harass snipers or anyone else chilling up here. Alternatively, you can jump normally back from the balcony without the detonator if you need to retreat fast. From the red side, you can jump from the floor up to the walkway near the middle building, surprising those who would expect you to take the stairs, as well as those advancing from the other building. Again, from this side you can jump on the boxes just near the stairs on point C and jump into the windowsill nearby. Can't think of many uses other than catching up to enemies retreating this way, but hey, if you can use this in a good way, then let me know. Now that this area is finished, let's move on to the areas leading to the end. First, that area we jumped up to before can be reached yet again, but from this opening near the hut to the left. Just do a simple detonator jump and you can get any enemies here, and perhaps destroy an engineer nest if Blue has set up dispensers and teleporters here, since they do tend to build here often. Going into the right building will lead to a room with 3 window openings and a balcony just ahead. You can jump up there and advance to the red spawn and get those pesky snipers and any other unfortunate soul just coming out. Great for sneakier gameplay overall. Red can get back at them though, as standing on this railing can allow you to jump into the windows and attack any poor souls there who are ready to advance. A pretty solid area for both teams honestly. Just before the right building you can also jump onto the roof, typically an area where engineers build sentries, but can be used for flare spamming if you so desire. Coming through the left hut and past the ties, you can jump onto these railings and jump into the opposite building, allowing for yet another sneaky route to enemies near the point and those deciding to attack your team coming this way as well. Overall, Badwater Basin has some good jumps that both teams can benefit from. We move on to Barnblitz next, which hosts some pretty neat jumps to perform. Straight outside of blue spawn is a path you can take into the building ahead. We can forget all that and jump our way up. A faster route and could catch some enemies off guard depending on the situation. Near point A, we have a route to the right leading to a balcony that we can easily jump to, attacking enemies up there. Not too useful since the left path can get here too, but handy if you want to get up there quicker. Near the outhouse here, there's a ledge where blue comes out later on in the map. We can easily get there with a jump which allows red to take out teleporters or be mean and attack those just coming out. Pretty useful to cripple their tellies though. There's a path up to a room to a balcony and a drop. You can actually jump back up to this hole and surprise attack enemies approaching here. Pretty handy to surprise unsuspecting people. You can also jump up to the small balcony by getting on top of the barrels down below first and then detonating up there. Again, useful for sneaky tactics. Alternatively, you can jump up to the balcony reds typically use too, saving you from having to take the stairs. Not too shabby honestly. You can jump from on top of those stairs to the area with barrels, but not much use can be made from this unless there's someone being annoying there, so yeah. Near the ramp after point B, you can jump up to the ledge on the left, which is accessible from the balcony from before, but if you don't want to walk around, this is a good choice to get there. From here, you're able to jump to the small ledge near the top of the building. Just make your way on top of the pile of tires, pipe and roofing, stand on the roofing since that's the highest area, and make a good jump up there. A very good jump for surprising enemies setting up in here and whoever else is lounging around. From the opposite opposite side, you can make the jump to the highest room. Just walk up the path, and when you get near the singular wooden box, make a jump and you can make it up. Not a bad jump to be honest, as it could result in destroyed buildings and other positive things. After C, there aren't too many more jumps. From the staircase in the corner, you can make a jump to the balcony to surprise blues pushing in. This small area near the slide from red spawn can allow you to surprise advancing enemies coming up from near C. You can also jump from the same stairs to the balcony near the red spawn up there to attack any snipers or spawning reds. And that pretty much covers Barnblitz. Overall, there's a lot of useful jumps once again for both teams. Our next map is Borneo. There's a hut on the left where we can jump up to the balcony on, as the normal path is on the opposite side. This can be good for attacking people near the hut as well as snipers who tend to stand here. Not very often from my experience, but they do use this area. Straight ahead we can jump onto the bridge and attack people around here, taking the pressure off of the cart and allow it to be pushed a little more. Finally, we can jump to the area near the building next to the point. This is typically where engineers are set up, so if timed well, you can surprise them and take out crucial buildings, even a sentry if done at the right time. A handy sneak route and probably the most useful out of the three before point A. Right next to that point, there's a ramp that you can detonate off of to jump onto the rocks nearby. A neat jump that you can use to surprise people just around the corner and perhaps sneak behind them if you're lucky. There's a hole that you can go down in the building to the right, and like the one on Barnblitz, you can jump back up. In fact, with more ease than that. Once again, surprising enemies coming the other way is a good use of this, especially when blue eventually have the spawn right next to it later on. There's a hut on the right on the way to the point that has an opening where engineers are a lot of the time. Pirate can jump up to it and get around the enemy team to surprise them and perhaps get engineers who are trying to set up their sentry. Sticking to the left, there's some boxes and rocks you can walk up. Standing on the rock, you can jump up to the balcony to the left to get rid of pesky snipers there and have a chance to get behind the red team. A decent jump all around and ending the jumps up to point B. After coming through the tunnel, you can jump up to the area on the left to attack enemies up there. You can get to the bridge still going to the far right, but it's much easier on the other side. Heading into the garage, there's a few jumps you can make to get to a higher level quicker. After just entering, you can make a simple jump up to the second floor. Just around the other side near the steps, you can make another jump to the higher level, taking out any enemies that may be up there setting buildings up or whatever else they may be doing. These both save you from using the stairs, but being closed in makes the second one a little harder to perform. And that's all of the jumps before point C. Not too many jumps near the end once again here. The first one allows you to jump up to the bridge outside the building a little quicker than using the stairs. You can also use this jump to get up to those higher bits faster too. On the right going in, blue can use the balcony to attack from a high advantage. Either team can jump up from the ground though to attack any enemies they see up there. You can also jump up to the walkway instead of using the stairs here to catch up to people trying to run to spawn. And then on the opposite side near the payload pit, you can jump up to the higher areas where engineers will be to ruin their day. So yeah, simple jumps here, but can be helpful to disrupt a number of classes and those trying to get healed up. And that's the end of Borneo. The next map is Enclosure, and our first so far to have multiple stages, so here we go. Coming out of the main area, you can jump up to the area up top rather than around. This can catch people off guard and you can take some of them out if you're lucky. If you came out to the left side, you can jump on top of the rocks to the main bit as well, in case everyone is fighting there instead. Plus it makes the trip somewhat quicker in the process. Staying to the left, you'll come to this sign next to a death pit. With a well-placed jump, you can get to the payload path sticking out, allowing for a good ambush opportunity if they're not expecting it. Not too bad of a jump to be fair. You can also make the jump back. The clip here isn't the best, but it does prove you can do it still. Probably one of the most difficult so far. Through the building, you can actually make the jump to the opening in the top right quite easily. Just jump onto the big grey box thing and make a blast jump up there and you're done. Good for reds that want to attack any blues considering the path is made for them more. You can get up there and pester them a bit so they don't advance as much, as well as having access to a walkway above the final point of this section. Going left gives access to the same area but closer to that walkway as well. When under the walkway, you can jump onto the big red canister and onto the walkway to surprise those enemies who are there. The last jump you can do is to the hut on the right near red spawn, allowing you to attack any people up there quicker than just walking around. You can also jump onto the roof here and once on the highest bit, jump to the walkway opposite. A pretty neat movement option overall, ending this part of Enclosure. Part 2 starts off with very simple jumps. You can jump onto the edge on the right just as you leave blue spawn, great for getting up there quicker if you forgot to go to the right path. Again, taking the main cart path, you can jump to the bridge just above the track to attack those enemies up there. More of a surprise than going left and getting there too, so it's a decent jump. Not too many heading to the end of the second area, however one big mixture of jumps for those that let you access the roofs in this area. You can jump around to your heart's desire here and sneak about. There are small areas you can jump to normally, but those are kind of boring compared to this and are fairly obvious with a bit of exploration. So that pretty much covers area 2 of Enclosure. We're in the final area now, and our first jump is just under the cart track as you can access the area down here. With a good jump you can get back up to the upper area and surprise a couple of enemies who won't expect a pirate to pop out of nowhere. That's it for jumps before the first point, so our next jump is right in front of the big shutter that opened, as you can jump on top of the area with a 2 on the side very easily and make it to the path behind to surprise any reds setting up here or making their way to the card. Not too bad of a jump. If you make your way to the left with the red canister and jump to the singular barrel, you can then blast jump to the guardrail opposite and then do another jump to the top of this wall near the second point. Kind of a difficult one, but it's really fun to pull off and can be useful considering a lot of players don't look up. Going up this ramp near the final point, you can jump over the wall, useful for skipping a lot of walking, and it can surprise blues coming out of the spawn nearby. A handy health kit is there too, so this is a good jump. Of course, you can do the same the other way, but there's no health kit, so it's up to you on which way you want to use the jump. Just outside of the red spawn, you could do a jump here to get up there and take out anything for the car to be pushed in more. I went back to the red spawn before some areas were covered and found two more. The first is the drop near the final point coming towards the second point. You can jump up here to attack any unsuspecting reds. There's a similar one going to the first point, which you pretty much do the same and has the same purpose as the other. Wouldn't expect many blues to use these, but hey, they're there in case you want to use them. And with that, enclosure is done. We now move to Frontier, and our first jump is right outside the shutters to the right, as you can jump up here in case you went the wrong way coming out of spawn. It can be useful to surprise anyone standing there, but it's mainly for faster movement. The next one is just in the small area on the left, where we can jump into the small building just opposite with a well-placed jump. Pretty handy since you can't normally jump over there again, but with this you can get any pesky player sitting up there. You can also jump to the rocks to the left and jump down on anyone sitting nearby, so not a bad 2-in-1 there. From going up the stairs on the left, you can blast to the rooftop just ahead to get the jump on anyone down there, as well as jumping back to the left area for anyone attempting to attack your team coming through. From this same area, you can jump up into the building just above to stop anyone from using it to their advantage. A huge surprise if done correctly. You can also jump from down near the point and spawn to the higher area ahead so you don't have to walk around a long way, which is handy for advancing blue enemies, or reds even if they're up there. Coming past control point A, there's a bend with a path to the right. You can skip going that way by jumping on the trunk with the small health pack and blast up there. This can be pretty devastating if you switch to your primary and air blast them off the cliff when they least expect it, so it's not a bad jump overall. Coming up the hill is a guardrail to the side. You can climb on top of this and jump onto the big wooden part above where the payload comes through. Handy if you want to jump down on enemies who don't see you, but it's best to use this jump quickly since they may spot you if you're unlucky. Standing at the bottom of the staircase near there, you can jump into the window above and take out engineer buildings that are likely here, and depending on where their sentry is, you might be able to get a good angle and take that out too. If the payload is near this balcony, you can jump off of it to the ledge just near the point, which could potentially catch some enemies off guard. This one does require the payload to be nearby however, so you can't do this normally, at least from my experience. After point B, there's a hut with a ledge nearby at the side. You can jump up to that ledge and attack anyone coming from that path. This is obviously more for the red team, but you never know, it could be useful for blues at some point. You can also make this jump from the small little area on the right coming through. A simple jump at the highest part of the floor will allow you to make it, which is a pretty useful version for blue team. Going further towards the point, there will be ammo and health just above some stairs. You can jump up there to catch enemies running up the stairs or just to traverse the area a little quicker. A simple jump overall. At the top of those stairs there's a walk-off as well as a platform with barrels ahead. You can jump up to it here with the detonator, which can allow you to use this area to annoy some enemies down below, as it's not easy to get here without getting on the walkway opposite it and jumping, which gives you ample amounts of time to prepare. To the right of where we were, you can blast up here to maneuver up to this area a little quicker, but it's up to you how you get up this small area. After point C, we have a small little room on the side that blue tends to come out of as another route. We can jump up there to distract any potential enemies coming here or get out of a sticky situation if you find yourself in one. On the floor just under where the payload goes through, you can jump up rather than taking any of the ramps, which can surprise any enemies pushing or any of them defending the point who don't expect an enemy pirate to pop up from below. Just to the side of the tracks there is a jump you can do that can ambush enemies coming from the side route regardless of team, as they once again won't be expecting a pirate to show their face from out of nowhere. And finally, you can jump up to the balconies near red spawn to jump any enemy up there. You can't do it from the ground, but if you stand on the gravel you can just make it. It's unfortunate that it's a specific spot, but it can come in handy sometimes. GOLDRUSH is our next map, and our next multi-stage map too. Next to the hut on the right, you can jump up to the second floor and potentially catch enemies off guard. Could potentially stop you from getting automatically killed by sentries too, and perhaps take out crucial buildings in the process. From the red side, you can jump up this ledge and surprise blues coming out. This is especially effective with an uber charge if possible. If not, you can just be a distraction. You can get up to this door and line next to the point, but it's pointless and kind of weird that you're even allowed up here frankly, so let's move on. On the left path you can jump up to a ledge where engineers typically set up teleporters, so it's a good jump to remove buildings that may be up there and to harass people coming through. There's a perch on the right that snipers tend to stick around when on blue, so this jump through the opening will allow you to attack anyone using this route and stop the pressure just a little. At the end of the left path is a walk-off blues will have to take, which you can jump up to in order to take some of them out, or if you're blue yourself you can use this jump to escape. Either works. You can also jump at where the railings are or the closer opening with a little bit more effort. There are paths that snipers and engines use to set up or snipe people from near their spawn. A jump to either side is easily done here and will catch snipers off especially, and is much faster than taking the walking path, and that does it for stage 1 of Gold Rush. In stage 2, our first jump is just to the right of blue spawn, as you can make it to the hut just above and attack any enemies around there ready for advancing blues. A little further on near the point, you can jump up to the building just to the left. This can surprise enemies like snipers that may be nearby, as well as being a quicker route than walking around. Coming out of the small hut where the cart comes through, there's an opening at the side that blue typically uses. You can get here by jumping on top of the tyres and wood and then blasting up to catch them by surprise and stop anyone from setting up or advancing. On the opposite side, it's possible to get to the walkway from the top of the staircase nearby. You'll be able to get to the walkway easily, or you can change tactics and go through the window for a surprise. But overall, this is a decent jump as an alternate way to get here. There's a little ledge just next to the final point of this area that you can use as a way to get into the buildings linked with the bridge. More useful for reds, but still handy overall. In the final area, the first handy jump comes for the reds, as you can blast into the little room near the spawn. Team up with a quick fix medic and you can give them a nasty surprise at the beginning of the round here. You can also hop from side to side here in order to deal with enemies how you please. You can get to the right side from the ground and then jump to and fro. The area leading up to the second point is a bit cramped, therefore there isn't many jumps. You can jump to the floor above on the right here, or you can get up from this walk off and surprise anyone up here. The most useful is this one near the point where you can go around the corner and surprise anyone standing there. Yeah, this bit isn't a jump haven, so we'll move on to the area leading to the finale. There's a bit you can jump up to near the keep out sign to surprise people still up there, handy for a different route to there too. You can also jump back up to the walk off nearby too with a simple jump. Not much to say, just handy to surprise and escape if need be. You can then jump up to the roof and balcony at red spawn instead of slowly climbing the boxes. Great for advancing a little quicker. On the opposite side to that, you can jump into the small opening that blues will take when walking through the lower route. This can be handy to catch them off guard since it's closed in as well, so it can be handy. And with that, Gold Rush is finished. We now move on to Hoodoo, yet another multi-stage map. When coming out of the main doors, you can jump up to the left area if you haven't gone up the stairs and spawn. Good for surprising anyone waiting up there, and health packs will replenish you, so it's a good bait and switch choice. Just under the tracks heading to the first point, you can jump up back to it and attack anyone there. Nice for a sneaky attack, but you can still walk around to their back, so not that useful overall other than being a nuisance. Not too many before the first point, so let's move to jumps leading to the end of the area, with the first being right in front of the first point. Jump up there and you've skipped the staircase around the corner and gotten to the left route for blue a lot quicker. Not too bad overall, plus you can jump back up there if you're defending to surprise people using this route too, so it's good for both teams. Just around the corner to that is a jump you can make to go the opposite way of where blues will be coming from. Good to surprise advancing enemies and if you want to make a quick escape. One last big jump for this area is just around the final point, as you can jump up onto this wooden wall near the staircase and then jump to the balcony blue team can use. Of course you can't go through the door, but this is effective if you want to sneak attack anyone that comes through, since they won't be expecting a pirate to be around the corner. Easily the best jump of this first area. Moving to the second area now, and there are some interesting jumps here. Going all the way to the left coming out of blue spawn is a small path you can take. You can jump up to what is above to get the drop on any pesky enemies waiting there as an alternative way of getting up there. On the right is a shed that can be jumped on top of. This is an interesting place to get to, as you could easily distract people with your detonator here while your team pushes up, so it's not that bad. And the last one before the first point is the balcony above. You can make a blast jump up there instead of taking a ramp to surprise enemies waiting there. A simple one that can come in handy sometimes. Coming through the tunnel after the point is a staircase you can skip by jumping up top. Handy for chasing enemies running away or to get up there quicker to stop enemies coming through. After leaving the building, there's the walk off that blue can use from going up to the balcony from earlier. You can jump back up there and attack people coming through and sneak behind anyone that may be using the other routes. Not too shabby overall. Just to the side is the other exit from that area, which you can jump up to instead of using the stairs, so it's yet another quicker way to maneuver around. Just behind the shed is a corner that's barred off but somehow reachable. No use for this unless you want to be a really sneaky pyro and attack reds coming out of spawn, but that's about it, which ends the second area of Hoodoo. Finally, we're on the third area, and the first jump is on the right side of blue spawn, as you can jump into the window here at the top of the stairs. Really handy for attacking reds who are preparing for the cart to come through. Around that same area is a bridge connecting both sides. You can jump up to it from the ground to once again access the route and surprise anyone waiting waiting up there. You can make the ledge just a little further up as well with the bonus of a small health kit. There's a hole up there as well that you can jump down. Obviously it's low enough that you can jump back up to, so it's yet another sneaky surprise waiting to happen for enemies up there. Not many jumps lead into the final point, with the first being an opening to the previous few ones before, just on the opposite side. Easily done and a surprise for advancing blues. The next one is near the last point on the right, allowing you to get up to the ledge that snipers would use. Good for a surprise since they won't expect pirates to be coming that way, so it's not too bad. If you go the lower route under the point, you can jump up to the right side near the spawn. There are stairs to the left, but you can use the right for a sneakier approach. We move on to Snowy Coast now, and our first jump is about the only good one before the first point. You can jump onto the rock just nearby and then blast jump over. This can be good to surprise reds who are hiding on the opposite side and distract them while your team pushes the car. There are a few more going to the second point, however, as there's another wall going to the right route that you can jump over and abuse more reds sitting behind it. You're able to blast jump onto the roof of the building opposite too to harass snipers up there and then anyone down below who doesn't see you there. Not a bad one, but the most effective one, especially for reds, is the opening in the building opposite to the point. Blue players usually take the lower route to the right to get here, so jumping up there can allow you to harass and surprise them, slowing down their advancement to the next point at least a little. Just to the left after the cart comes out of the building is a jump you can perform to harass players there. Could be better for red since blue teams spawn here later, but can be useful regardless. On the way to point C, there's a balcony before entering the cave you can jump up to catch enemy players off guard rather than predictably using the stairs. Not much more use for this, but again, it can be effective. Right next to the point, there's an elevated ledge that engineers and other players will likely be. Jumping up there with a detonator can help alleviate their pressure and hopefully stall engineers from setting up faster. A simple one, but not too bad. There's a walk-off just to the left coming through to the final point. This is good for red to use when the slider is shut before the cart comes far enough to jump blue, but this also works if blue players want a quick escape as well. A big jump that's available is to the area just outside of red spawn. This is great for a blue pyro as you can harass those coming out and skips a huge portion of the last area to get around and do some serious damage. It'll prevent engineers from setting up quicker at least and annoy a few players. And finally, on the opposite side in the building, there's an opening that you can jump up to attack blues coming from the left, or to escape from reds if you're in a bit of a pickle. So yeah, Snowy Coast has a couple of decent jumps overall. Next, we move on to Swiftwater. The first jump we can perform is to the balcony outside of blue spawn. You'll need to be on the piping just below to have enough height first, and you can attack unsuspecting engineers or snipers that are there. Not too shabby. If you fall to the lower part at any point before the first point, you can easily jump out. Saves you from walking all the way around and potentially bumping into enemies on the way. On the right is a shed that can't be accessed just yet. You can blast your way on top of the roof to skip the rest of the area and surprise a couple of reds while you're at it. You can also make your way to the top of the building here quickly by jumping too. This can catch people off guard considering they never saw a pyro come up the normal way and may nab you a sniper kill or two. There's a drop inside too which you can jump back up to. Useful for surprising people using this overall. On the way to the second point, you can blast to the right to catch any enemies using that upper path. It's pretty nifty to surprise anyone up there retreating. Coming out of the cave is a small area you can jump up to outside of the house. You can then jump to the higher bridges and perches to attack those up there. A pretty nice set of jumps overall. Coming through to point C, you can jump up to the higher areas pretty easily with a couple of jumps. Either use the roof and above the door or the wall that sticks out a little and you can make it up there. Especially useful for red since blue team can get there with an easy stroll. You can also get to the walk-off from here nearby the second point. A great jump to surprise those still advancing from the second point. There's a similar jump in the broken wall area to jump up to, which is an alternative if you still want to use it. You can make it up to the area above red spawn with a simple jump as well, which is handy to take out any players who are using it to their advantage. Coming through the tight spot after point C, there's a ledge that you can get to that's usually an easy get for blues. This is good for ambushing because of the one-way doors and small opening preventing a lot of damage for them. Surprisingly, you can jump through the window as a surprising move and distract people preparing for a push. A weird one, but kind of funny. Continuing up the hill is yet another wall that you can jump over to attack anyone hiding on the opposite side. Pretty handy to harass enemies trying to set up. Right above the point is a sniper ledge which you can jump up to and attack anyone there. Easier than walking around to get up and is a simple but effective jump overall. There are vents leading to the final point on the left that blue used to drop down. You can jump back up here to surprise anyone using them and ambush people trying to advance. At the final point you can jump up to the higher area. Might not be recommended due to sentries likely being there, but it's good if you time it and harass anyone there. Around that same area you can jump through another window to surprise or cut off anyone running through. It's handy on defense, and that about covers Swiftwater. Our next map is Thunder Mountain and our last multi-stage map. The first jump we can perform is from the rocks near the car as you can blast up to the roof above the hut. This can then be used to jump to the balcony just opposite to skip a ton of running around and allows you to get behind enemies really easily. You can get on top of the hut from the top of the stairs on the opposite side too, so either way will work. From the bottom of the ramp before the first point, you can jump up to where the blue team spawn. This is good for a sneaky ambush and to get away if there's too much to handle. From the balcony earlier, you can jump around to the higher level where red will be. This is a sneakier way of getting there instead of using the stairs and will certainly surprise them. From where the bridge goes up after the first point, you're able to jump back up from the lower area, effectively ambushing any enemies up there. Saves a lot of time walking around as well. You can also jump up to the small ledge above where the left path from the point takes you. This is effective for once again ambushing enemies who use this path and to escape if need be. Behind the buildings on the left path, you can jump back up to where the railings block you off. Again, this is useful for escaping and surprising enemies who come this way. And finally, you can jump to the balcony above near red spawn by doing a simple jump. Good for annoying red players when the car is near the end and just to be a nuisance in general. In the second area, just after the bridge, are two jumps you can make. The one on the right will bring you up to the lumber area where you can ambush engineers and other enemies setting up in here, and the one on the left will bring you in the small hut where snipers and engineers will be. They're both simple to pull off. Those two are about the only useful ones I could find before the first point here, so we go to the next area just above the point where you can jump to from below. Good for a surprise and ambushing any enemies still hanging around here. Inside the room is a small area that is blocked off by railings. You can jump from the opposite side easily to get there and attack anyone trying to set up. Down below where the cart comes through, there's a pile of boxes just to the right that you can blast up to get back to that upper area. This is good to ambush enemies or to make a quick escape, and pretty much a neat jump overall. After coming out of that building, there's a staircase to the side. You can walk up and then blast jump to the balcony above to ambush any blues trying to snipe up there. You can also jump up to the area just ahead of the stairs and to the right in order to access those areas a lot quicker than walking to them, so that's handy. There's a tricky jump just outside of red spawn that will really surprise enemies. From that balcony, jump on the railings and you can jump up to the balcony right at the top. It's not too easy to pull off, but it will most likely come in handy if you manage to pull it off successfully. We're now on the final area, and this is a bit of a strange one, so I'll go through the jumps by area near the point. We'll do the ones near red spawn for easiest now, and with there being two drop-offs there, a quick jump allows you to get back up. Again, not much to say, just a handy couple of jumps. And near blue is a similar jump, just blast your way up and you're there. Simple. There's not too many around point A, with the first at the bridge area just before it. A simple jump allows you to get up there, and you can attack anyone up there preparing for the cart to come through. There's a sniper spot just before the point as well, which you can jump up into the window of. Good for a surprise attack on unsuspecting snipers there. Somewhat difficult to slide in quick, but handy nonetheless. One final jump is from the balcony outside to the middle area. One quick jump and you're there. A handy faster way to get there overall, not much else to say. Coming into the building for point B, you have a staircase on the right. You can climb the stairs or go all the way to the left and blast your way up. This alternate route will definitely surprise anyone up there and can work quite nicely if done right. There's a balcony and area above point B, and you can jump up there by doing another simple jump to the area without the railings. Good to attack anyone up there quicker than using the stairs, plus they wouldn't expect it most of the time. It is possible to jump to the areas in front of and behind the point, but you'll need the cart as you won't get enough height otherwise. They are possible, but only in that circumstance. Finally, for the last point, there aren't that many. Coming up to the first ramp close by, you can jump up as a surprise with a simple jump. The last one is getting on top of the roof at the final point. You'll need to get on the boxes nearby and then blast up top. This can be good for spamming flares at enemies down below and be a general annoyance, and that about does it for Thunder Mountain. We now move on to the final map of this part, Upward. On the right coming out of blue spawn is the roof you can climb up. You can jump up to it from near the rock to access the higher area quicker and shoot off a couple of flares to pester red team. Coming along a little further is a small balcony where snipers will be. You can jump up here and pester them as well, and skip walking around sentries that are most likely down below. You can also jump up to the walkway on the left near the point in case you missed that path earlier on. Easy to get back on track if you did. Coming through the cave after point A is a balcony people usually set up on. Blast your way up there and you can annoy any enemies willing to stand there. Closer to the point is a hut that you can snipe out of. Use this to your advantage to jump through the window to pester anyone waiting or using that room. It can be used as a sneaky way to get behind the blue team as well if timed well. Before we forget about it, it's worth noting there's an opening for reds that closes after point C is captured. You're able to jump up here regardless of team before it closes, and on blue it can be good to be an annoying bugger and stop anyone from setting up in time or be a nuisance in general. Coming past where red was spawning next to point B, you're able to blast up this one-way path to attack anyone using this route and surprise them. Next to the cliffside, you're able to blast your way up to the main area again instead of using the stairs to ambush enemies defending here. Kind of a dangerous area if there's another pirate to push you off, but can be handy if done right. Coming to the last point is a couple of jumps that are quite good. From the boxes near the pit, you're able to blast up to the balconies outside of red spawn. Doing this will prevent engineers from setting up and pester other enemies. This is granted that they aren't already set up, so be cautious here. From the lower level, there's a hole in the corner that is possible to jump up. This can be used to surprise reds waiting around here and an alternate mean of reaching the final area from below. At the same boxes from before, you're able to jump into any of the windows openings behind to get up there really quick. This is good to ambush enemies up there and can assist your team if they're being attacked. finally, from the far right balcony, it's possible to once again jump to the balcony at red spawn. Just another simple blast here and you can ambush enemies up here and hopefully take out any engineers trying to set up. And that about does it for this one. This part took absolutely forever to finish and find jumps for, so I'm sure there's some I've missed or forgotten. Let me know if I have down below and I'll once again add them to the start of the next part. And that part will be on the attack defend map, so hopefully you'll look forward to that. Please consider liking, commenting and sharing this around, as it was hard work finding everything here for this part. And with that, I will end it here. This has been your Fempire enthusiast BonOakley signing out. See you guys in the next one.
Hello friends! Thanks for watching our video. Please click another one above. We'd be very thankful.